Welcome back to 1237. This is John. Before I get into what this video is about, for a while now, I know I haven't been done a comic review in a while. I've been wanting to do this one, Batman White Knight. It's my favorite comics. It just came out recently, but last year. Probably my second favorite Batman comic ever. It is so great. It's a brilliant story. Every time I go to do it, there's something else I've had to review, probably because I forget. And then I was watching my favorite YouTuber, and he did this film, which I don't know how I overlooked it, but this belonged on my top random favorites. That is Henry, Portrait of a Serial Killer. I hadn't seen this in a while. I had to watch it again before I did a review, but there's a lot I like about it. Probably because a lot of serial killer movies really aren't that great. I mean, Monster is good. Some of them are good, just not favorite movie worthy like this one is. But anyway, that's not what this video is about. The reason why I'm holding off on doing this is because I saw a movie last night. And if I don't do a review on it, I'm gonna forget, and I don't want to watch it again. Now, movies fucking yoga hosers. You don't know what that is. It's a Kevin Smith film, as of right now, because he's filming another movie, Jay and Silent Bob reboot. This came out in 2016. And I'm a big Kevin Smith fan. Clerks, Mallrats, Chasing Amy, those are my top three. Clerks 2. I really enjoy Dogma. I really enjoy Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back. And that's it. I was not a fan of Zack and Miri Make a Porno. Because, well, I wasn't a fan of that. And Tusk, which is another movie I watched last night, it's there. I mean, for a horror movie, it's there. Then he did this piece of shit. I didn't see Cop Out, but Cop Out he didn't write. He was a director for hire. I heard it was terrible, but I would probably be more lenient on that because that's not really his creation. He just directed it. Red State, another horror movie that he did write and direct. I heard that was horrible. I didn't see that. And I didn't see Jersey Girl. I don't care to see it. That came out when Kevin Smith was still making good movies. And I'll go into depth with what I mean by those in a few days, because I'm waiting to pick something up. And then I'm going to do a Kevin Smith collection and discussion. Like I did with, I'm not going to do a ranking like I did with my Tarantino video. I'm just going to go chronologically and then have a discussion about him. But, you know, Kevin Smith, he's my third favorite filmmaker behind Tarantino and Scorsese. But there's two eras for Kevin Smith. There's the first half of his career, the View Askew. That was when his production company was called View Askew. His View Askew universe, that's what I like. And then post View Askew, which I don't. And if you ask me, when he did Zack and Miri, I'm going to go more in depth with this during the discussion video, but that movie starred Seth Rogen because he was trying to make a Judd Apatow film, not a Kevin Smith film. Kevin Smith sort of turned him on to smoking weed for creativity, which he wasn't really a big pot smoker at the time. And now he smokes pot for everything. And I think it's affected his creativity. I do. Because since then, everything's just been getting worse. And it makes me nervous for a Jay and Silent Bob reboot. This movie is by far the worst thing I've ever seen him make. It's one of the worst comedies I've ever seen. I mean, I would even compare it to 2016 Ghostbusters. Why? Both came out 2016. When you look at, okay, Paul Feig, who directed Ghostbusters, he's known for R-rated comedies. Then he toned it down for PG-13. I don't think he knew what he was doing. That's why it comes off like a shitty, toilet humor Nickelodeon film. Kevin Smith, known for R-rated raunchy comedies. This movie was PG-13. It's like he didn't know what to do either. Ghostbusters pissed me off more. Like, Ghostbusters really pissed me off. Because when you look at my long 20-year love for the original Ghostbusters and then look at the remake, it's just like, how are these two even related? How could they do that to the original? And then you look at this and you look at like Clerks, which is my favorite Kevin Smith film, one of my favorite films of all time, as is Ghostbusters. It's just like, how is that the same guy? I mean, I know filmmakers are like musicians. Over time, they grow, they want to change, they want to do something different. But, I mean, that's a severe jump. Even in 22 years, Clerks to this. And I didn't pay for it. It was on Netflix. And I don't want to own it. I won't own it. I won't go out and buy it. I'd just rather forget that Kevin Smith even did this movie. Right off the bat, I knew I was in trouble. Because the opening credits is pretty much, if you've seen Tusk, you remember the two girls at the convenience store, which is Kevin Smith's daughter, Harley Quinn Smith. Yeah, her name's Harley Quinn. And I think her name is Lily Depp, Johnny Depp's daughter. They're friends in real life. Kevin Smith put them in Tusk for a couple short scenes. They're the stars of this film. Because Kevin Smith wants to do a True North trilogy. 3 movies that take place in Canada. Tusk did, so this is the next part of it. And, these two girls are in this shitty glam punk band, which they call Glam Thrax. Neither one of them can sing. The drummer is Seth from the OC. Don't ask why I know about the OC. But it's just like, dude, I haven't seen you since the OC. Every time there's a new character, I mean, these girls are fucking annoying throughout the whole movie. I know they're parodies of what girls are like today. They're always standing there like, like crooked and faces in their phones. Every time, always taking selfies, saying, like, talking to each other verbally, saying hashtag whatever to each other. Like, that's so basic. I'm just like, oh my god. This is why I didn't watch Clueless. Because I'm sure... Because they did the same thing in Clueless. They made fun of the 90s Valley Girl. And now they're making fun of the Instagram, Snapchat, basic white girls. Every time there's a new character, I thought this was kind of cool. It was whenever there's a new character, this thing pops up, looks like a computer screen, it says Instascan, says their name, it has like likes and comments with like hashtags about that person, but it's not up long enough for you to read. I guess it's just supposed to be like what they're tweeting or hashtagging about that person. But then I thought, you know what movie sort of did that better? Feast, which Kevin Smith produced, I believe. It's a much better movie. Well, I'm already starting forgetting shit, and I just watched this last night, and I'm not watching it again. Basically, these two girls, they work at, again, it's in Canada, and they won't let you forget it, because, sort of like how the Coen brothers, whether it's Fargo or Raising Arizona, if they do a movie somewhere with an accent, they do the accent almost to the point of parody or stereotype. Here it's just way over the top. And they work at a convenience store called A to Z. They eat cereal called Pucky Charms. There used to be like little Kevin Smith things like that in his older films. It's like, oh, that's clever. Here it's just like Justin Long is their yoga instructor. And the joke is he keeps coming up with business names that are already taken, so lawyers are calling him. The first one is Yogi Bayer, as in the aspirin Bayer. I can't remember what the second one was, but it's just like, you honestly could have just said Yoga Bear. Wouldn't that have been more clever? But no, then you would have had an angry yoga master getting mad over the phone. Because I guess that's a joke. But yeah, these girls can't sing. They do that during the whole credits. I actually skipped through the credits because I couldn't take it. They're rude to the customers. Like, part of it's like Clerks. But these girls are just so snobby and like, yeah, and like chewing on their gum. It's like, at least Dante and Clerks tried to be nice. I'm already forgetting so much. They get invited to this senior party. They're sophomores, but they have, yeah, this. The dad of Johnny Depp's daughter, in the movie, her dad character, is the manager of the store. He makes them work the night of the party when they have off. So there's even a part where Kevin Smith's daughter screams, "I'm not even supposed to be here today." Yeah. You know, that's not really fan service. Fan service isn't a good movie. All that did was make me want to watch a better movie. And I know I'm all over the place, but because okay, so like they get invited to this party. The next day they're at school. They're in gym, but in gym they're doing yoga, so they have like a note from their yoga instructor saying they don't have to participate. So they're just sitting on the bench, like Snapchatting everyone. It's like, so fucking annoying. Teacher takes their phones, and of course they're acting like she just took their kidney. They're both named Colleen. That's another joke. Kevin Smith's daughter faints. They're sitting in history class. The history teacher talks about how there was a Nazi movement in Canada during World War II. You get a black and white flashback of Haley Joel Osment, who was this anti-Semite, trying to say how we need to bring the Third Reich to Canada. Nobody buys into it except for this guy from Germany, who's like, wunderbar, because they have to be over the top with that too. So those two get together and they start a little Nazi movement, and then that just sets up the events for later. So then they get their phones back. They find out they have to work. They get to the store, and I don't even remember how it comes to be. But yeah, all of a sudden there's these little sausage people like this big. Imagine like when people used to make hot dog people out of toothpicks. Imagine that, but they're dressed like a Canadian Mountie with a Hitler stash. And they just run around going, "Wunderbar, wunderbar, wunderbar." And they jump up the ass of people, crawl through them, then come out their mouth, and then the person's dead. Yeah. Dogma had, I don't know why I put it over there because I don't have it, but Dogma had a giant poo monster. But at least the shit, no pun intended, at least the shit around it was funny. This is not funny. So yeah, you have little sausage Nazis which they call Bratzies. And, then there's more and more of them at the store. They fight them all. Whenever they kill one, there's this really over-the-top, really bad, cheap, shitty quality CGI of, like, sauerkraut coming out of them. Like, CGI that made Sci-Fi Channel look like... I was going to say a Tom Savini effect, but that's pushing it, but it's not far off. Oh, yeah, earlier, while they're in school, they get talked to by Johnny Depp's character from Tusk, who's this really over-the-top, stereotypical, hellacious Quebec accent Johnny Depp. He's all like, and that girls, and he has like a giant mole or a few moles, but they keep moving around in every scene. And that was in like Monty Python or like a Zucker Brothers movie, I'd laugh, but here it just didn't fit. This guy that the Kevin Smith daughter's a crush on, the one who's throwing the party, and his friend who neither girl likes, they go to the store. They leave their party and go to the store. Of course, the girls are stoked. Find out they're devil worshippers and they want to sacrifice them, which is a stupid subplot because it goes nowhere. I guess all it does is kind of show like, yeah, girls, don't just get like oh so hot over a random guy. But it goes nowhere because the Bratzies kill them. The girls kill a bunch of Bratzies. That's when Harley Quinn says, I'm not even supposed to be here today. I was just like, you're just making me want to watch Clerks. It's not a fan service reference. Just making me want to watch a better fucking movie. Cops show up. They pick them up for the murder of the two boys. Johnny Depp helps break them out. They go back to the store. Which, this part I don't get. Is this supposed to be funny? Is this supposed to be like a backwards ass like thing you'd see in South Park or Monty Python or whatever? The two girls are in jail. Johnny Depp comes in. Johnny Depp's daughter... Okay. I'm only doing that because they both need Colleen. I'm just going to call them Depp and Smith. Depp looks at Smith and says, I'm going to talk to him in French. So she starts talking to him in French about, like, well, I could take you to a secret passageway through the store that no one knows about. But then Johnny Depp himself is telling Smith what Depp is saying. So it's like a big triangle of... what's the point of that? Like, because Johnny Depp and Depp are father-daughter in real life, like, is he making sure she's doing her French homework? Is this supposed to be like a weird backwards joke? It made no sense. But anyway, he breaks them out, brings them back to the store. There is a secret passage. There's this huge fucking cathedral-like room. There's this guy he was in Tusk. He was in a few other movies. He's the Nazi guy from the flashback, the story that we saw. He tells his story about how he made little sausage people, and then he went into a cryogenic state, or a cryogenic state, excuse me. And then once it was complete, these sausage people, I guess, were going to be full grown or whatever. But the girls doing their music short-circuited the whole thing, and it ended prematurely. And of course, Smith goes, oh my god, that is like so sad. And then you get this annoying scene where the guy does a good job of all three that he does, but he's like, would it be more sad if I sounded like the Sylvester Stallone? So then he tells a sad Stallone type story about war and stuff. And then, because first he does like an Al Pacino impression. He does Sylvester Stallone. Then he does, Adam West. Then he does, well, maybe it would be more whatever if I sounded like this. So, whatever they say, he tries to make it sound more than. It just goes on forever. I know I said before that I like Kevin Smith films because they're talky. I like seeing, top provocative conversations with actors who are believable. But this just goes on and on to the point of it being pointless. And, that was the whole thing. He wants to make these sausages. They wouldn't grow into real people. There's this giant fucking mess of a monster. It looks like the Rancor from Star Wars. That was probably the thing. It's like take Leatherface's stitched up mask and put that all over the Rancor. But of course, put a hockey mask on and give him a hockey stick. When all the Bratzies get inside of him, they control the whole thing. And of course, when it steps, it goes, Wunderbar, Wunderbar. I'm just like, Jesus fucking Christ. They defeat it somehow, I don't remember, and then I don't remember how it ends. And I don't really care. This movie was unfucking funny. 2 bits. There were 2 bits that I felt enjoyment. One of them was Stan Lee had a cameo. I was like, okay. Which I already knew that. Because I watched Kevin Smith's Fat Man Beyond podcast. But, oh my god, Kevin Smith and Stan Lee were friends for 20 years. 21 years at that point. Stan Lee even considered Kevin Smith to be a son. Stan Lee kept asking him, like, yo, Kevin, when are we gonna make another movie? And Kevin Smith kept saying, we're gonna soon, Stan, soon. Unfortunately, he puts him in that piece of shit. But, at least when you see Stan Lee, no matter how bad a movie is, it makes you smile. Because Stan Lee is just great. Goddamn yoga hosers. He plays like a dispatch cop. They try calling the cops. That's another line. People keep saying like, goddamn yoga hosers. It's like, I don't even remember what that is. And that's how they defeat the monster. That's how they defeat the little Bratzies. They do their yoga. They do yoga moves together, and that's what it is. And then it ends with them at the yoga studio again. So Stan Lee's cameo, that made me happy. And then before I say the one part that actually made a noise come out, a noise of laughter come out, I will say, Justin Long talking in a Canadian accent isn't that bad. It is kind of funny. But the things he has to say, because again, it's PG-13. So it's like a lot of like talking about like, sit there, opening up a book bag. A book bag full of pew. It's like, okay, more poo jokes, but yeah, I love South Park, but that's a cartoon. Cartoons I can give toilet humor to more than I can real movies. But the one part that actually made me laugh, I mean, like when Justin Long was talking, I was kind of going, like that was it. The one part that made me laugh is the part they're working in the store. This guy asks for a pack of cigarettes, a certain kind, and they give him the wrong pack on purpose for some reason. He corrects them. And they go like, oh, sorry, well, duh. Like, just more reasons not to like these fucking girls. Especially since I've met girls like this. Not just in high school, but even as an adult. Just rude bitches for no reason. like I said, even in Clerks, Dante tried to be nice, and when Randall was a rude asshole, at least that was funny. But yeah, the guy buying the cigarettes, it's Kevin Conroy, the most prolific Batman voice actor ever. He's voiced him the most times. Batman the Animated Series, the related films like Mask of the Phantasm, which is my favorite, Justice League Animated Series, all the newer Justice League animated films, the Arkham games, Batman. When he orders the cigarettes, he says it in his nice Bruce Wayne voice. And then after they mock him, he says, like, "No, girls, that's not very Canadian," in his lower Batman voice. That alone would have been enough to make me chuckle. But he has his young son with him. Then he just goes, "Come on, Robin." It's like, okay. That was a joke that made me laugh. Like, Yoga Hosers, you got me. But that could have been in a better movie. That could have been in Clerks 3. If only Jeff Anderson, the guy that plays Randall, hadn't have backed out of Clerks 3 right before filming. Well, no, because Yoga Hosers was already out when they would have done Clerks 3. Oh well. But again, it's just jokes that were so good that they could have been in better movies. Or like little fan service jokes that doesn't work as fan service because, you know, it just makes you want to watch a better movie. It's like Kevin Smith. And like, this is making me lose hope for Jay and Silent Bob Reboot. I've seen some of his video diaries on YouTube, like Road to Reboot. There's some promising stuff, but if it's anything like this, I don't want to see it. This is one of the worst comedies I've ever seen. I mean, I would put this up there with some of the worst Adam Sandler comedies. I would put this up there with like Carrot Top's Chairman of the Board. I've seen some awful, awful comedies. Mostly by Adam Sandler. I'm sorry, I know that's an unpopular opinion, but I don't like Adam Sandler. But, you know, at least Adam Sandler, his movies were never like, you know, super great and then they declined. It's like there's always been sort of like a steady Adam Sandler-ness, and then once he got, you know, Netflix exclusive, he dropped off. Kevin Smith, I mean, his movies are way up here as far as writing and characters and tone and being thought-provoking. And then by the time we got to Zack and Miri, it started going like this, and then by Yoga Hosers, this movie fucking sucks. I cannot believe it's a Kevin Smith film. I hate it. I never want to see it again. It pissed me off almost as much as the new Ghostbusters. That's what I call it, new Ghostbusters. I won't call it Ghostbusters because 84 is Ghostbusters. It almost pissed me off that bad. If pot is the answer to why, then Kevin Smith, lay off the pot, go back to making your good movies. Or at least, when you're writing, quit. Quit smoking. I mean, you can't tell me that, you know, you can watch Clerks and Yoga Hosers back to back and be like, oh yeah, same guy, same humor, yeah, I see nothing wrong. Or, I mean, it's your opinion, so you can tell me, I just won't understand it. But yeah, this movie is just so fucking stupid. So terrible. It's almost like he wasn't even trying. It's like it's almost like he either just wanted to put his daughter in a movie, or like his daughter begged him, say, make me the star of a movie, and he just wanted to continue from their excellent role in Tusk. But either way, I can't believe I spent a half hour on this. half hour on such a piece of shit like Yoga Hosers. Again, I don't. It is Kevin Smith, but to me, it's not Kevin Smith. He stopped being Kevin Smith after Clerks 2, back in 2006. Yeah, 2006 was the last true movie he made. Because again, I'm not a fan of Zack and Miri. I thought it was funny the first few times, but it's just him doing Judd Apatow. That's all it is. Yeah, I'm just going to keep repeating myself now. I can't believe I went through the plot that fast. I'm already forgetting shit. All I can really talk about now is how angry and irritated and annoyed I was by this whole movie. But yeah, if you're a big Kevin Smith fan, unless you have to see every Kevin Smith movie, avoid it. You know, if you love Clerks and Mallrats and you haven't seen this, don't watch it. Skip it, pass it, punch whoever in the face that recommends it to you. This movie is that fucking terrible. I hate Yoga Hosers, and I will put it up there with New Ghostbusters as worst, most hated comedies I've ever seen. So, Room 237, John's out. Thank you.